Good morning everyone, it's Mystery Quilt time again. We're up to block 35 and 36. Not that many more to go, but they are getting just a little bit more intricate. But there are a few easier ones to come as well, just to give you a little bit of a breather. Okay, the next one is called Picnic Bouquet. I like this one. In fact, I wouldn't mind a whole quilt made of this one. Okay, so I have made up part of the block, and I'm just going to take you through how I did the actual units I talk about in the instructions. So I'm just going to swing the camera down and show you. Okay, let's see how that goes. Okay, so this is obviously a 9-patch base block. So we have got a 9-patch unit in the middle, and then we have got in each of the 4 corners this flower unit. The flower unit is made up of some half square triangle units and some adorable flying geese. Now in the instructions I show you to make these using the stitch and flip method. You can cut individual pieces of the cutting diagram if you want, but it is easier with stitch and flip. Now one thing I'm going to mention when you make these, so you're cutting the rectangle and the squares from my instructions to the correct size. It is always worthwhile, after you've made them, just put them under the ruler and double check the size, because you may need to give them ever so slightly a little haircut on the sides or on the top, ever so slightly. Because these units are so small, this is 1.5 inches by 2.5 inches, you've got no wiggle room if your sizing is a little bit out. So double check them, give them a haircut if you need to, because that little 1/16 of an inch that you take off can actually make quite a bit of difference when you go to put it together. So you're going to make 8 of those little flying geeses, and then to one side of the flying geese you're going to sew a little square, and then to one side of your half square triangle unit you're going to sew the other flying goose. Now these flying gooses are actually, we tend to think of flying geeses as being that way up, as if they're flying up. To make the flower, they're actually what we would call upside down. So lay out your block and make sure you've got them around the right way, because it's one of those ones that's easy to flip them up the wrong way. So we have the half square triangle unit with a flying goose to the side, and then we have the flying goose with the little square, and they are going to get sewn together to make the unit. Now looking a little bit weird because I'm not holding them very flat. So when they go together, they will make the flower that goes into the corner, and then you're just putting it together like a 9-patch block. Okay, so that is your first one. Now you can go crazy with colours. I've said to use 5 colours, but you know, you can make your flowers in different colours, whatever you like to do. Okay, the next block is another one of our corner blocks, and this one's called ladder 5. It's ladder 5 because there is 5 steps up the ladder. So this is, I think, the first time, I could be wrong, that we've added an actual triangle into the corner of it. Okay, so here are the units for this one. Oh, gone too far. Okay, so I give a little diagram in the instructions showing this block laid out. But this is one that's definitely worth having a look at how it goes together. So you're going to be cutting some small squares and some small triangles. And you're going to sew a triangle either side of a square for 3 squares. And you'll notice the flat of the triangle is level with the flat of the square on one side and the same on the bottom. So when we pin them together, they are pinned together so the flat of the triangle matches the flat of the square, and you do have a little triangle overhang, and that triangle overhang is more than 1/4 inch. It's meant to be. When you sew the next section on and sew the rows together, like we do with the flying geese, that's when the 1/4 inch distance from the seam intersection magic happens. So you can see on this unit where I've sewn them together, there is this little tail that hangs off. So these get sewn together into these units, and then you're going to sew them together, offsetting them so that the seam intersection matches for the squares. That's the key point. But you will see that along this diagonal edge here, this is a straight line. So 3 of those go, where am I? 3 of those go together, and then the last row, or the second last row, is a square and a triangle, and then you add on the last triangle. The large, on my drawing, orange triangle, you're going to sew on once you've sewn the little square triangle ladder units together. And I recommend fold it in half, find the middle point or the center of that long diagonal line, and match that to the middle or the center of your ladder unit. So you're making sure they're matching up. If you cut your orange square to the correct size, it should also all line up along each of the edges. And then of course you're going to add on your large background triangle as well. I hope that makes sense. Okay, have fun making these 2 blocks. I really like this ladder block. It's going to look quite nice when it's sewn together. I'll just quickly lay it out. I must have another triangle kicking around somewhere. Okay, so hopefully you'll post these up on our Facebook group and share them. It's been really great seeing everyone's blocks that they've been making. All the colours are looking fantastic. And I think we're pretty much on the countdown now. After all, it is June, so you haven't got that much more time to go before it all goes together. Okay, bye.